Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fiestro, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Adriana, your host of Negotiating Happiness, and today is actually April 2nd, but we will be airing this live on April 7th, so please still leave us your questions and comments in the comments, and we'll get back to you there. Thank you so much for coming in. Grab your lunch, grab your coffee, whatever it is that you need to get through this Monday, and join us. I have Jill Wise with me here today. She is a brand and marketing strategist and conversion copywriter and business mentor. And just as a reminder, we are live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. So if you guys can't catch this whole episode, you know the drill. Just go into the archives on any of the sites that we're streaming on and catch the whole episode because it's going to be super fun. We are welcoming Jill back. She's been on the show before. And today we are going to talk about the 3 ways to leverage personality for sales. I mean, isn't that super fun, Jill?
I'm really excited, especially because things are so different now than they used to be. So I feel like this is a relevant conversation.
Yes, 100%. So when you suggested it, I was right on board with that. So let me just do a little bit of a quick intro again. For those of you that haven't seen Jill before, like I said, she is a brand and marketing strategist, conversion copywriter, and business mentor. She's also a mom of 2 very cute little boys. I'm super, super excited to see them any chance I get. So just, very relevant information here.
I feel like it's relevant.
Obviously. So Jill is a business and marketing problem solver. She pushes through the noise of the online world and the rules of what you're supposed to do, instead guiding her clients to show up authentically as they build, grow, and scale businesses and that feel good to them. And personally, Jill's a mom on a mission to retire her husband and determined to do so on her own terms while showing up every day as her true self. She believes in work-life integration and approaches everything with obsession-level commitment while maintaining balance. There's space for spin class and red wine, gardening, pizza, green juice, 5 a.m. mornings, and staying up too late. I mean, that's so relatable. I mean, I feel like we can find ourselves in any of those things. Maybe not the 5 a.m. mornings for me, but like everything else.
I need to get back to my 5 a.m. mornings. 5 a.m. mornings, usually not when you're in the first year postpartum. Just doesn't work.
That's right.
But
So Jill, you've been featured on top podcasts in the marketing world, including the Copywriter Club podcast and Better Than Big. And you're also the recent recipient of the Rising Star Next Generation Award, which recognizes your innovative approach to business growth and influence within your local community as a young entrepreneur. So we're super excited to have you here. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I always feel so awkward when we do the intros. I'm like, it's just me. It's fine. It's fine. We can skip that.
But it's hilarious because you can definitely see everybody gets like that. Everybody that's in this position goes, oh my, are they talking about me? And it's like, yeah, it's your bio. It's okay to feel excited and giddy about it,
Yeah. I think it leads into our conversation too, because obviously I came up with a lot of the bio things and like the pizza, the red wine, the green juice, the 5 a.m. mornings, and all of that relates into like how to put your personality into your messaging in order to make more sales. So,
right. So let's dive right into that then.
Where do you want to start?
So let's just start with a little bit of a background on how you started your entrepreneurship journey for those that haven't seen you on the show before. So tell us how it all came about.
I am an elder in this world now, which is, I think, funny because I'm not even that old. But in my mind, I'm like a teen mom. I'm like, oh, this is so awkward. Are you watching me? I'm not. I'm actually in my 30s, but I've been doing this for a decade now. The last 5-6 years full time running a legitimate business. But I started just dabbling, freelancing, picking up gigs, not really making much, working part-time on the side. Went back to school, did all those things, and then finally went full-time. And that's where it all kind of like came together. And I realized that I was growing my business and it was going well, but not like, it wasn't like hitting those like milestones that I wanted. And I realized that it was because I was being like so vanilla in my marketing. I was like, I need to be professional. I'm going to wear like a blazer in my pictures. I'm going to make sure that I talk a certain way and act a certain way. And so like I was getting work, but not like, 6 figures and beyond, like what everybody aims for when they're starting out.
Right.
And so at the same time, I'm like working with clients on their messaging and their copywriting, and I'm encouraging them to be authentic and show up as themselves. And I'm like, you're so cool and people like you. Like, let's show that online. And yeah, I'm not doing that for myself. So when I started doing that for myself, actually like being myself on the internet, obviously within some boundaries, not like airing dirty laundry or like trying to keep everything relevant. Still, everything changed. Like my business grew exponentially overnight and it just continued to grow. I was able to shift to work part-time hours after baby 1 and continuing that after baby 2, and like really connecting with people. Like all of my clients, I like genuinely like them. Like I would invite them over to my house for dinner and it wouldn't be like a business conversation. It could be, but it wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I put out I put out content and messaging and just everything I do, I feel like is really me. And every time I feel like I'm getting away from that, there's always like something off in the business then. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm being vanilla again. Like I'm trying to be safe again.
Right. But you're just attracting your people, right? So I think there's a really big difference between that first like initial hustle where you're just like, I'll take anything, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to that point where you're like, I don't need to take anything. I need to take whatever is like, aligned with me. We kind of all go through that too, though, when you're growing and when you're scaling, where you're kind of like, yes, we need to hit these targets. And then you kind of lose track a little bit of like, but wait, can I actually work with these people and not only make them happy, but make me happy too at the same time?
Yeah, exactly that. And then making sure that what you're putting out like matches what you want. And then I guess getting back to the main story, that's when I was able to shift from like a freelancer to an agency owner and like things just take off from there.
Which is amazing, right? It's amazing. And at one point it's like, what's that saying where you can't tell how far you've come because you continuously raise the bar for yourself.
Right?
I
definitely do that.
I know you do. Not good enough.
More.
Yeah. And it's not, and I love to kind of point this out. It's not about money. It's not always more money. It's not always more like financial kind of gains. It's about like, I want more time. I want better projects or projects only in what I love to do, like more of that, because I think the money will just come. Yeah. And I think this is such a great conversation to have, to be like, no, just use what you have to be authentic. And it's honestly like the word authentic has lost some of its meaning because of how much content we consume on Instagram, Facebook, like all the aesthetic, kind of, platforms. But I can't wait to hear about, so you're now at the stage of, you went from freelancer, you went to agency owner, you had some babies in the middle, and you still ran your business. Like, oh my God, that's amazing. Where is Jill now? Tell me about Jill's entrepreneurship journey now.
Now, I feel like I've gone through another one of these stages again of like, what do I want now?
Yeah.
And how I'm going to build something that fits right now. Not just like my life, like that's important too, but like we were talking about the work I want to do and the like bigger impact I want to have. And so that has been, at first it was like challenging because, as you know, like postpartum, you're like, what just happened to me? Everything is different again. And then finding that clarity and then starting to action on it and then seeing growth from that. It's really cool. So right now I'm like doing a lot of consulting work. And that's really fun, like marketing consulting work. So like helping others decide what to prioritize, because there's so many different things you could do.
Yeah.
So like maybe before I was like, okay, we're going to do brand messaging websites and just continue. Then I realized I was doing a lot more of like ongoing retainer work and consulting and all that kind of thing. And then that's kind of what I've narrowed in on now is like really fun, helping others decide like where their marketing budget should go, like what makes the most impact right now. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Are you seeing any trends? Is there anything that we should watch out for?
I mean, I think it's just like, obviously there's AI to consider.
Mm-hmm.
I try to not just be like, oh, here's a trend and let's jump on it in terms of that way, but like definitely there's trends in like how people are buying things is different. And like people really want that human touch and they need more personalization, which is funny because we're all so obsessed with AI. Like it's cool. Like I use it. I use it in different areas of my business, but you need to like know how to use it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to use it, then people can tell. And people are also like still skeptical. Like I'm pretty sure we're still in the early adopters phase of it, even though it's been around for like 3 years now.
Yeah. It's been around for a long time.
Like there's still so many people.
It's actually been around for a lot longer. I just don't think it was posed in as AI.
Yeah.
But in the mainstream sort of digital world of business, I think the last couple of years have really kind of pushed it forward.
I think it was like ChatGPT is like 3 years old now.
I think so. Yeah. And I mean, we have so many more now and it's really crazy. I have conversations with founders of different platforms and they're asking me for input on like, oh, like how do your clients use it this way? How your clients, which is it's really cool that, you know, I've gotten into this kind of role of, hey, it would be super helpful to have these platforms do all of these things for us. And they're also these developers, these founders are leaning into it to say, but wouldn't it be cool to have multiples or like, they're just thinking like right outside the box. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, this is just barely scratching the surface like it's really cool to see how people project it or how they're seeing it's going to go in the next like 10 years, because so far it's like I have this robot at the tip of my fingers. You think this is it, but I'm like, this is not it. People, you have no idea the crazy ideas that people are trying to develop out of it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. So I think like there's obviously that as like a trend and it being cool that we're at the early stages of it. But then because we're at the early stages of it, people are like, consumers are also like kind of skeptical and they're craving that like personal connection. So I guess trends that I'm seeing are people like want to know who they're buying from. Like they want your personality. They want more touch points. They might not want to sit in on like a long webinar like we used to. Instead, like an open house, one-on-one calls, like chat with you. I've been selling stuff like over email without like Zoom calls even sometimes too. And they just, I guess, like communicating with people where they are, but then still having your personality in it because like we're just inundated with AI this and AI that. And so some of these are tactics rather than like just overall like big picture thinking. But the way that I like to approach it with clients is like, okay, what are your values and what do your clients want and customers? Like, where are they at? Like, how do they feel about certain things? And how can we like shape a plan for you that makes sense for you and for your people? So it's not just like copy paste this somebody else is doing this. Let's copy and paste it over to them.
Yeah, exactly. But also don't you, I mean, as a copywriter, I feel like you are the person to talk to about this because a lot of the times that I hear from my clients, they use it a lot for content writing. And I keep having to be like, listen, it's really good at, you know, fleshing out an outline or, you know, organizing information in text form, but it's not good at capturing your essence. And it's really hard for them to come up with that because they're like, oh my God, like in 2 seconds, I've got this wonderful post. I was like, yeah, but it's not quite it. So I think this is super important that it kind of goes along with this conversation is like, how do we use our personality to show up authentically? Because obviously plugging it all into AI isn't always the answer. A lot of the times it's not the answer, especially when it comes to content, especially when it comes to how you want to like show yourself to your potential clients, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the thing that's missing when people do that, and I see people do that too, like a lot, obviously, everyone's obsessed with it. They're like, I can do it so fast. And it is great. Like you said, for outlining, I use it to find trends in voice of customer data and organizing all of that like messaging data for me. And okay, I have an idea here, like help me come up with more ideas around these lines. And then that'll inspire more ideas for me. And so it's like kind of like having like a conversation back and forth. And I often don't use like verbatim what it's given me, but like it just inspires something else. But because it's missing like that personality, that nuance, and people will be like, oh, it sounds like me though. Like I would say something like that. And like maybe at surface level, but personality is so much more than just the certain words that it might use, because you can tell it like, oh, I like using this word versus that word. But like, the personalities, like the nuance, the humanness, like the things that keep people up at night and the similarities that you have with your audience and like what they care about and what is relevant to them and how to like help them make decisions, because that's really all marketing is helping people make decisions. So that I think is like the part that's missing. And it's really hard to like pinpoint it, especially if you're not like a creator in some way. If you're just a business owner trying to make content fast, you're like, good enough. But I can almost always tell when somebody has provided like a draft or something that's written by AI. And I'm like, it's not because everyone, you see the post on LinkedIn, like there was zoom dashes in it, or there was the rocket emoji. It's not that. And I can't put my finger on it.
But you're a professional writer, so it's a lot easier for you to spot it. But it does drive me nuts with the amount of emojis. I'm like, oh God, no.
Yeah, like that stuff, yes. But like I like some well-placed emojis. They're just not so well-placed. I think it's like the tone too. I've noticed that a lot of the times the tone comes out like really negative because it's like following the like copywriting rules. And there are like copywriting rules that we have, but I like to break them. I like to, again, meet people where they are and write to that person in that position, and not always be like, here's your pain points and like I'm going to drive them home to you. And so then it can feel a little bit more positive. I'm just rambling now, but really it's like that like human essence that you can just like feel, and other people can feel it too.
Yeah, other people can too. So this is really great segue then. So let's talk about some of the ways that we can use our personality.
Okay. We said 3 ways, right?
Yes, we said 3. I'm sure you could talk about 10, but
I
focus on 3.
I did my homework. I narrowed it down to 3.
Okay.
We can go through them in order. So first, I kind of mentioned this, but like similarities with your audience is a really important one. I always ask clients, like, what do you or your clients have in common with the ones that you want to reach? Because people really like similarities. Like when we are out in a group, we're looking for people that like look like us, we relate to them in some way, they say something in conversation and we're like, oh, me too, like, yeah, I get that too. And then we feel connected. And you can do the same thing on the internet. So there's different ways you can approach the similarities. It could be just like interests, right? The mom thing relates to a lot of my clients now, because they're like, oh, Jill also has a busy life and figured out how to do it. So like, then she gets me. And so they'll relate on that. The things in my intro about like the green juice and the spin and all of that, people also relate to that, because a lot of my clients are like the high achievers, like they are into wellness, but they also like to be able to unwind and read like a fluffy romance novel with a glass of red wine. So like I know them on their interests, but then also knowing like what keeps them up at night. Like, what do they feel like? Like, what are their stresses? So I know that my people are like, there's like this new level of success that they're feeling, and it can feel like a lot of pressure. And like, there's anxiety around, like, is it going to go away? Like, did I really do this? Like, what do I need to do next? I don't even know what to prioritize. There's so many things I could do. My list is so long. And so they're just like constantly going and going. And so they need somebody to come in and be like, calm, breathe. There's so many things you could do, but you can't do it all right now. So like, let's just pick the things that are going to make the most impact first.
Right.
So me knowing that about my clients and then helping my clients find out that level of detail about their ideal customers helps relate to them where they are.
Yeah. And it's funny because you can take this, like what you're talking about can be translated into anything. Is it your discovery calls? Is it your networking event? Is it you're looking at building your content strategy, or you can use this. Like, this doesn't just go away. And sometimes it's a conversation. Sometimes it's about, like you said, tapping into the written content or how you show up on your website, or, and it doesn't have to be forced. This is like the good thing about a personality, is that you're just literally being you. You're just doing it in a way that people can recognize those things about you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So like defining what those things are.
Yeah.
Because then again, like relevancy is a big part of this. Like there's so many parts of all of us as human beings and then as business owners, and you could share everything, but you don't want to or need to share everything. So then if you do that kind of strategic work to decide what's worth sharing and what's going to help people make decisions, then you can set boundaries for yourself. Like, these are the things I'm going to keep private for me. Right. Yeah. And then it makes it easier for you and makes it more clear for anyone who's on the other side, whether that's on your sales calls, at a networking event, in your copy, like we said, your emails, whatever. You've picked the things that are relevant.
Yeah. And sometimes I think it takes a little bit of kind of, okay, take a step back, take a little breather. Like, what are the things that you like? What are the things that are important to you? Because we get so wrapped up in the hustle. Like, I'm so glad that we're finally at a point now where we're saying, hustling isn't good. Like, we thought that it was good, but it's not good for you as a person.
Yeah. All of us that were girl bossing 5 years ago are like, wait, what?
Yeah, I'd be like, wait, I need a break. I can't keep doing this. Yeah. So once you get there, it's kind of like, oh yeah, no, I do want to travel. And you know what? I do enjoy the odd glass of wine, or, I will take the time and spend with my kid. And that's how it all comes back to, like, this is me. I want to attract the same people, right? So similarities is a really good way of putting it.
Yeah. And like us as the business owner, it works really well if you're like a personal brand, or like you are still the face of it, but you can still do that with like a business brand too. And maybe it's like less about you and more about like your company culture or like the clients that you work with. So you can draw a lot of similarities between, like, here's who we're already working with, and we know this about you because we already work with them. So
yeah,
that's another way too, which kind of leads to the second thing to add more personality in, which is using storytelling, because we are humans and we like stories. It's how we connect. It's how we understand things. It's how we actually like grasp concepts too. And it helps us as business owners show instead of tell. So I could give you the example of, so many people will come to me and like their first version of like their website will be like, we have quality customer service. And that means nothing to me.
No.
And means nothing to someone on the other side. I want to see you explain your process. Like, how do you live out that customer service? How can you show me a testimonial? Someone that is like, Adriana was like there for me whenever I had an issue and she helped me find a solution to it. Like, that is showing me you do good customer service, but in like a more tangible way.
Yeah. It's what do they call it? It's like, don't advertise the features, advertise the benefits, right?
I mean, like that's part of it. That is like a copywriting tactic, but it's even more than that. It's just like anything that you could say, like you can say all of these fluffy marketing buzzwords like quality customer service and like we care about you, but like show me how you do that, how you live that out, how you act it. Because if we're talking about brand personality, all that really is like how you interact with and communicate with your ideal client. So instead of like the benefits versus feature is just a copywriting tactic, instead of like listing the things you do or making these generalized statements, you can give personal anecdotes, you can use client case studies, testimonials, not I think I mentioned this, not airing dirty laundry. Like, you don't want to use your audience as your therapist
No,
in order to
yeah.
be like relatable, because people are all about like relatable now. But like, you can talk about challenges that you've overcome and how you got here, depending on if that's relevant for your business, or you can talk about the challenges of your clients and then how you helped them overcome these.
Yeah. I think it's really important to talk about sometimes the challenges, like you said, not in a airing dirty laundry way, but a lot of the times when I talk to my clients, they're very surprised when I tell them, not everyone is ready. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, well, I'm honest with people and I'll say, come back in 6 months. Once you've figured out X, Y, Z, I'll give you a list of things to do on your own. Doesn't cost you a dime, right? And come back when you're ready. And they're like, so you don't want to take my money? And I was like, no, because it's not about the money. It's about the fact that we're going into the wrong way. Like, that's a challenge, right? Mm-hmm. So like saying that to clients, they're kind of like, oh, okay. So you're sort of like building that credibility of this is real life. What happens is you're either ready to do something like this or you're not, right? And I think they appreciate it. I think they're thinking, oh, like this is very much like real life, right?
Yeah. And then you can use that story in your marketing, right?
Yeah.
You can say like, I will only take your money if you're actually ready for it. Like, I'm only going to help you if you're ready for it. I'm not going to work with everyone. And here's what I do instead. Right. And then it helps people like see that picture. But yeah, people are really into that. You mentioned that you saw my Substack. That's like really what it's all based on, is like telling the story and showing the behind the scenes. And I'm getting good feedback on it so far, but that could be translated to like everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So. And that's the thing too with marketing. I mean, I had this conversation, I may have mentioned it before too. One of my really good friends, she's got a marketing and communications degree from a really good university here in Ontario. And I said to her, I was like, well, this should be like easy peasy, not thinking about it because obviously this makes sense to me too, but this was like a while back. And she's like, what are you talking about? Everything has changed. My degree from 10 years ago is literally, I cannot apply any of it now. And maybe, yes, the like, the pillars of marketing or sales or whatever, or communication, sure. But the way that we do things has fundamentally changed, especially in the digital like space, right? So if you're not always finding ways of kind of putting yourself out there and how you do it well, and showing kind of like what you said, like case studies or show me your process or whatever the case may be, the next person that's doing the exact same thing as you. And I'm all for it. Like, there's enough room for everybody doing this. But it's kind of like that thing with AI. It's good enough. You're slapping the posts up, but there's no strategy to it whatsoever. There's no essence, there's no strategy. So you're missing that. And you're like, I'm posting constantly. Why is this not showing me either sales or growth? I'm like, well, because there's nothing behind it. So if you're doing the same thing, when you're just even speaking to people or when you're having your discovery calls, it's hard. There's no essence to it. You're doing exactly what the next person that's doing this is doing. So it's kind of like a sea of bland, right? There's no personality anywhere, or kind of like an anecdote, like you said, like you use like real case studies. It's a really good piece of advice.
That kind of leads to the third one.
Yeah.
Which is, because you mentioned that everybody is like a sea of bland, vanilla. Like, I fall back into this too sometimes, but strategic positioning.
Me too.
So like finding those U-shaped gaps in your market. Like, what are people doing and where's somewhere that you can fit in? So some people call it like be polarizing and, stand out. And I know that with some of the clients that I work with, they don't want to be like polarizing. Like, they don't want to make people mad. They've built their reputations. They've worked so hard for that. They do need to stand out though. So if we think of it as just strategic positioning, then it feels a lot better. Sorry, my nose. I hear the toddler calls.
Okay.
So with that though, it's not being afraid to make a stance, but also saying things that are only relevant to the work that you're doing. Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, I don't want to sneeze. Okay. So as long as it is relevant to the work that you're doing, then it's fair to say, because we don't need to comment on everything. That happens a lot, especially online. Everyone has an opinion about things.
Right.
But you don't need to always share your opinion, but you do need to find the things that are relevant for your audience. So again, how are you going to help people make a decision about you? How are you going to connect with them? What do they need to know about you in order to feel comfortable buying from you? That's more about like what strategic positioning means. So for this, I'll ask clients to things like, what do your competitors say that really annoys you? Or what do they not say that you feel like needs to be said in your industry? And like, what do your people need to hear? That kind of thing.
Right. So it's almost like align yourself with the people that are on the same kind of wavelength, right? Because not everybody will say it out loud.
Some people won't say things out loud, but if you can say those things out loud, then you're going to find that U-shaped gap in the industry, in the market. And that's what people will, like, they're waiting for. They're like, I picked you over someone else because I like your way of doing things. So that's where you can tell the story of how you do things, who you work with, how you help, and the similarities. And it all just like ties back together. That's all part of your positioning, but really thinking about how you are different from others. So it requires actually looking at your competitors, and I encourage people to do that, but not to copy or feel the comparison in a negative way, just to kind of get a lay of the land and see where you fit.
I think sometimes people get so stuck in the day-to-day or, stressed out about, every month, bills coming in and whatnot, that they forget that you're in a position that is liberating. So as an entrepreneur, nobody gets to tell you how you run your business. So you should sit down and look at what's going on around you and be like, is that how I want to run it? And that's what's going to set you apart from it, right? It's a liberating position. And I know a lot of people in the very traditional service-based industries have a lot of issues with that, especially if you are in an industry that is regulated by some sort of regulatory body. You don't have as much leeway in it, but you still have some leeway. You are still an entrepreneur. You can still do things that are within the limits that are different from the next person, right? And I'm seeing that more and more. Like I've seen a lot of accountants, they're just kind of going out there, and it takes me a minute to be like, oh, like this is accounting services. That's really cool. I've never said that before about an accountant. What I've said is that accountant is so helpful. I'm so grateful for them, but I've never been like, oh, okay, this is different. But that's what you want. Like you want to you want to feel that you have the freedom to run it however it is that you want to run it, because that's literally the whole point why we all got into this, right?
Exactly. Isn't it? Yeah. Exactly. Like you said, I think you said liberating, freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we get to decide. Isn't that so cool?
There's no limit.
Yeah. And then
there's no limit.
There's so many people in the world that there are going to be people that want to work with you.
Yeah.
Even if you're offside, I'm not encouraging you to be offside, but like there are people that still work with those people. There's other people that are also offside.
Yeah. And I mean, as long as you're not doing anything to cause damage, right? I mean, we do have to be mindful about that, but it's okay to say, I'm sure I probably got some hate about this too. And I started saying, half the time, like you think in my industry, I was like, half the time you think you need a VA, but you don't need a VA. You need an OBM to fix up your back end before you get a VA. And they're like, oh, right. Because you just like telling them tasks to do every day is super inefficient, right? And it's just a repeat of the same thing every single day. And then nothing gets better. It's just a task doer. Like it's just a task doer at that point. So then when they start seeing it that way, they're like, okay, well, like you're not saying anything against VAs. I'm not, because I think they have their place, right? I started as a VA, but you need something else before. But until people kind of like see it that way, it looks like I'm posting about like, you don't need VAs, you need me.
Yeah. But that is like getting people to think. It's getting them to shift their perspective. And It's true. Like you need if that business owner like can't set up the systems on their own, they need somebody to do that. Otherwise the VA is going to be like a waste of time and money.
Right. But it's also really bad on the VA side too. I've been very lucky. I've had maybe this experience maybe once where there was nothing. And then all of a sudden it was just kind of like, here you go. And I'm like, I don't understand what you want me to do. So I can't be of service to you. Right. So it goes both ways. It's not just for the business owner, but it also is terrible for the VA as well, because there's no rhythm. There's no understanding of what you're building. And it happens a lot when you're at the very beginning, when you start feeling overwhelmed. And I think business owners go, oh, I need help. I'm like, wait, before you do that, you need to just strategize, because it's like you said, like you said, you work with clients where you help them allocate let's say their marketing resources, because you can't do everything. It's just not realistic. It's the same thing. It's like, you can't do everything. So let's take that bit of time that you do have and work it in this particular area that will then open up more avenues for you later. Like, it's just about being strategic. And a lot of the times we don't act from a place of safe strategy or strategy in general. We act from a place of we just react. We don't plan it. We just react to whatever it is that's happening. And then we go, done, fixed, Band-Aid, let's move on. Right.
Yeah. Reactionary is like definitely common, because people like, they'll say something. Oh, my competitor is doing this. My friend did this. It worked really well for them. I saw this ad. I tried this. I went down a rabbit hole. And then 6 months later, they're like, I didn't see any progress, but I felt really busy. Well, because you didn't like actually stick with something intentionally and build it out and see it through, or your decisions weren't rooted in data. Like, I absolutely hate when people are like, they're trying to sell stuff, but they don't like do any kind of tracking. Like, how does it actually turn out? You know, they're just like, okay, I did it, done, on your way. And then clients will be like, I did this thing. I hired this person. They wrote me this funnel and it's not working. And well, how do you know if it's working or not? Well, I don't know. It's just not making sales, but like, they're not doing any kind of tracking around it. So.
Right. Yeah. I have the same conversation with people that we talk about Google ads, and they'll say, we've done Google ads and it hasn't worked. And I said, do you know why? And he's like, well, no. Right. So you still have to pay for them. I said, because you're just amplifying. There's a problem somewhere and you're just amplifying it with money. So you should probably test it out organically first before you do and fix it. And a lot of the times I'll be like, you need a website refresh before you start throwing money at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's that side. And then there's also the other side where people will be like, they actually have a solid funnel, but they're like, I'm not making enough from it. And I'm like, they think they need to redo the whole thing. And I'm like, well, no, actually your conversion rates are good. You just need traffic now. So how are we going to get traffic? And, but when it's not based in data, then it's just, you can't make good decisions. So I don't remember how we got here, but the point is, everyone, look at your numbers, track your stuff.
Yeah. No, it really is. And as an entrepreneur, you have to think about everything. So this is why you need people to help you with specific parts of your business, because you can't possibly start, like Jill, you're taking apart, data from a funnel. A funnel is like different stages, right? They're not thinking about that. They're just thinking, I'm not making enough, or I'm not converting anything. They don't really know why or where they're losing the traffic, or am I even getting the traffic that I need for this, right? So this is yet again another really good example as to focus your attention in one place. And if you can't do it, get someone to help you to do that, because that will be a much better investment than just like trying to see what sticks to the wall, because that can't always be your strategy. At the beginning it is. We all do it at the beginning, right? But and then just kind of like to test out to see what works, but listen to the people that have gone through this. Like, this is what works. And this is exactly it, this episode, right? Like, leveraging your personality for sales. This works. This is proven time and time again, right? Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because it's part of human behavior. So it's a little bit of psychology sprinkled in there.
Oh, totally. Marketing is totally psychology. Like, I am a nerd and read psychology books, like for like fun.
For fun. I love that you didn't even say for work. You said no, for fun.
I used to think that one of my like areas of study in university was philosophy, and I used to think that it wasn't going to be relevant when I started down this path, and then I've realized it's so relevant.
Right.
So relevant here.
That's
and
amazing.
I am getting better. I do read more like fiction now, but
oh, good. I mean, whatever makes you happy, right?
Yeah.
We're just having such a great time here that I realize I haven't done a station ID yet. So for those of you who are just tuning in, you're tuning into Negotiating Happiness. And I am here with Jill Wise. She's a marketing strategist. And we've talked about so many things, but mainly the 3 ways to leverage personality for sales. So if you're just catching this now, just go back into the archives and or Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever it's streaming as well. It'll be available for you. And we are live on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Pronoma Radio Network at 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. So we have, we're way past the halfway mark here. And we've talked about some of the ways that, we can engage our own content or whatever it is that we're putting forward for people to see, to attract the right people to help them make decisions in purchasing from us. What would you say, like, how is it different now? Like, how do you feel like this whole digital space is different? I'm sure you've been around for a long time. You've built a successful business. So I'm sure you've seen the differences along the way.
Yeah, I think that there's like a few parts to this. Those who joined through the C era boom, where everyone was going online and everyone was selling online courses and all of that, like sales were easy then. Right. We were all at home. We had time. We were learning stuff, changing jobs, all that kind of thing. Now people are skeptical. We've been burned. We've bought shitty courses that were sold as this amazing thing, and it's actually just a bunch of Zoom call recordings. I know that I've recently even bought stuff from like celebrities in the marketing world, thinking that they're selling like new ways of doing things, and they're selling like the old school webinar that worked in like 2018.
Oh man.
And it's just, so we're skeptical, right? And so I think that it's just really needing to connect with people. And I'm also kind of seeing a shift away from people wanting to do courses for everything and almost getting more back into the like, help me do it. Maybe not necessarily like totally done for you now because everybody has all these different tools, but like they want to talk to somebody about how to make it like personal for them. I don't know if you've seen this with your work too, but just like that people are craving that like connection more. Like I've had more in-person meetings than I've ever had before in the last few weeks. Wow. Maybe that's my own doing, like actually leaving my house now, but like I'm craving it too. And it's just like I think that it's important to be able to like leverage all the tools that we have at our availability with also people, like business is human.
Yeah, for sure. I see that too. And I think people, and including myself, we've kind of put a lot of importance on in-person events now. So I've attended a lot more networking events, and I think people are doing a lot more of the, I hate this. Like, I hate the idea of like a handshake deal, right? But in the traditional way, but in my way that's happening now is, where I meet you randomly at a dinner and then we have a conversation about our kid or where we went traveling or whatever. And then we go, oh, that's really cool. Tell me about what you do. And it's way more natural now than it is then, because I think we were kind of still going off of the whole instant gratification, kind of like, do you have to see the sale come through? And I was like, that's not how it works, guys. I'm like, I will get people that work with me maybe a year later, and that's okay. I'll get them that come in like maybe 6 months later, and that's okay too, because I've had time to kind of build that rapport with them, right? Like, so it doesn't need to be this whole like Instagram, like the courses or the digital products, and like they're still very good and people still use them. I think it just depends on what you want for yourself. I think it also depends on what industry you're in. I am seeing the whole in-person thing a lot more though.
Longer sales cycles.
Yeah, longer sales cycles. And I'm doing a lot more business audits now, which before I feel like people were very resistant to it. So maybe some things have sunk in to be like, wait, I don't see the full picture, even though I'm in the business and out of the business every day. It's like, yeah, of course not, right? Like it's impossible to do that. So we're doing a lot more of that now, where we're dissecting everything before they decide what to do with their money, where to invest it. I was like, yes, thank you. I've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah, honestly, it's smart.
Yeah.
And with the sales cycles too, I guess another thing that I've noticed is that like there are people still buying the digital products, especially at the front of the funnel with like the lower ticket.
Yeah.
Like I have a handful of funnels selling digital products and then leading up to like bigger things. And something that I've been shifting mine to react to, I guess, or to not react to, just like be aware of, is that before you think of a funnel and you'd think like lead magnet, tripwire, upsell, email sequence, upselling, and it's like all connected and everyone's getting the same sequence. Now it's like you want to like personalize that journey more. So I'm seeing people buy a lot the front, the tripwire, the bump, the upsell right away. Like they're brand new, maybe cold or like warm-ish traffic, but like they're coming from socials or ads.
Yeah.
And then the middle, it's like the people in the middle are acting differently. They take longer and they need more personalized sales journeys. And then they're still going to buy the higher ticket stuff afterwards, but it's just like they need to, I'm like trying, how do I explain this in a tangible way without getting into the weeds? Instead of me just selling everybody the same funnel sequence at the end, I'm like, okay, this person is showing interest in this offer and this person is showing different interest in this offer. And how can segmenting, pausing the sales to like get them to get to know me more. Yeah. And then restarting that segmentation based on their behavior. Right. And that is working a lot better than like the traditional, like push everybody through the same kind of thing. And so that I think is relevant information, not just for like, if you're selling digital products, but like everything you're selling. Like there are still like fast action people. Mm-hmm. And then there are those that are just taking longer and they require those more touch points, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's also because it depends on where you're meeting them, right? So you having the lower end offers to the mid to the higher offers, you have a whole structure in place. And some of the people that, especially in your case too, like because you do like business mentoring and whatnot, the people that are buying right at the beginning might not be at the level where they can buy the high ticket, maybe not yet. But again, starting this kind of like journey of like, oh yeah, I've had Jill's courses, I've gone through Jill's courses. Oh, this is amazing. Oh my God, I didn't even realize that she's offering mastermind or, like whatever it is that is kind of like your end offer goal.
Yeah.
Right. So it just depends on where they're at, which by the way, I talk about your courses every so often. And I do say, guys, you need to go to itsjillwise.com because some of the courses I think are still around. Some of them are not, but they're just so good for people to just try to figure out where they are. And I always say, I was like, I'm pretty sure at some point you're offering free courses and even your paid courses, they're very reasonable. So I'm like, go there, guys, go take a look. Do you have one on right now?
I'm not actively running like a group thing like that. I do have a mini course that kind of helps people decide like what to do next, what to prioritize next. It's called Align and Integrate. It's up in the shop. The mini course version of it. Occasionally I'll do like a live extended one. That kind of thing. But right now I'm like really leaning into like the personalized one-on-one consulting work. I think I mentioned at the beginning. It's just going deeper with people is like really fun for me right now.
Which is great. Isn't it great that you have the freedom to pick what you want to do?
Yeah. And like, this is the kind of thing that you would learn if you were to take Align and Integrate, because it's like, okay, what do I like to do? Like, what do I want more of right now? And the resources in that are something that like, they're things that I return to all the time. Every time I'm like, something needs to change. I'm like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do to figure out what needs to change.
Yeah, no, for sure. I always keep your courses in mind for people.
Well, I didn't accidentally made it a little about that. Not to make it all about that.
No, I honestly think they're great tools. It's not just about that. It's about getting the tools that you need as an entrepreneur. Like sometimes people listen to the show and they're at the very beginning. Sometimes they're not. They're just in the stage of revamping everything. So I always like to present tools. I'm like, none of this stuff is sponsored. So even when we talk about different platforms, it's not. And even though sometimes I'm like, please sponsor me if you're listening out there, putting it out in the universe. But no, but seriously, if you're at a stage where you need some guidance, I think you have it down pat. I have learned a lot from you, Jill. I have to say this. I have. So I love.
Well, I've learned a lot from you too.
Well, thank you. But I think it's more the other way around. Don't let her fool you. It's the other way around. Yeah. So we're here at the end. Shocker, it's gone by so fast. Do you want to tell us a little bit, just something personal that you want to share? What are you looking forward to this year? What's not just in work? I mean, just like as an individual, as a person who has needs and wants.
What things? I feel really lucky and grateful right now, which is like really cool. Like it's really easy to get so caught in the weeds. We're busy the day to day, and I've been really practicing like zooming out and noticing that even if like my work to-do list is really long and like there's emails to get to and like my kids are yelling at me because they're just melting because they're toddlers and they're chaos. And like all of that, I'm like, oh, but I built this. Like, it's fine. It's fine if I don't get to everything today. And so that's really cool. And then also starting to shape again the work that I'm doing to be stuff that I'm really excited about and like clients that I'm really excited about and like feel like friends. I know that not everybody wants that, but I love working with people that feel like friends.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm excited about those things and just like creating more space. I've got some trips planned. I'm going on vacation for the first time without kids.
Oh, I love that.
I'm going to be leaving them for like the longest ever I've ever left them. And it's only like 4 days.
I was going to say, what are we thinking?
5 days, 4 nights. No. So yeah, excited about that stuff. Like when you come out of the like postpartum maternity leave and you started your business on that, but when you like realize what it is that you want, and now I feel like so excited that it's happening. And then recently, like we just finished a quarter. So like looking back at the data from the last quarter and like feeling really validated and like, okay, like the decisions I made were good. Like it's working this way. So I'm just excited for like more of all of that.
I love that you started out by saying that you're just grateful. It's really hard sometimes when you're struggling to change something or when you're running out of time to do everything. But that's really great that you're grateful to be at the point that you're at. I think we just lose track of, like I'm also a person that needs a break. I think I shared something on one of my stories. It sounded so very like hippie and woo woo, but I love that stuff. Right. But it was kind of like, you don't, what is it? Nature doesn't bloom all year round. So why are you expected to bloom all year round? Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just kind of have to be like, I'm not saying slack off or anything like that because you just don't have that luxury. A lot of us don't. Right. But I'm saying it's okay. Like it's okay to take the time to make those shifts. Right. Because they oftentimes lead to better things. It might not seem like it at first, but it's true.
Yeah. Like everything, there's a lesson in everything. And like everything, as cliche as it sounds, happens for a reason. So every time something goes how I don't want it to go, I'm like, okay, what's the lesson here? Like, what am I missing? Yeah, that's helpful. Yeah.
Super excited for you to go away, though.
I'm like excited and scared.
It'll be fine. It'll be great. It'll be great. The kiddos, I promise you, won't even remember.
I hope so.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm going away for 3 weeks without Zach in the summer.
Oh my God.
So that's going to be heartbreaking, but choose to look at all the positive things and all the things that he's got planned. So he's been a pretty busy kid this year. So
yeah, he's like a whole little person now. So
he's going to be 5. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. It's wild. But yeah, like when you think of just like how far you've come, like both of us like want so much more.
I know.
But it's easy to be grateful when you stop and you're like, oh, like I'm living the life that I dreamed of.
Yeah.
Like I'm here.
And there's no limits. Like there's no limits. I can't even, like I'm kind of, for anybody that's not watching, like I'm pointing to like the sky, but there's no limits because I'm like literally waving my hands around like a crazy person, but there's no limits to this. So if you feel limited, it's probably, that's the point where you probably need to stop and step back. Like, wait, why? Like am I limiting myself here? There's no limits on how you run your business, period. So once you figure that out, everything gets a little bit easier to be like, oh, I could do it that way. Or yeah, I'll be like, I want to do this. Like this was not aligned with me from the beginning, right? There's no limits, guys. You just have to create a path for yourself.
Yes. And like, let it be easy. I'm sure you can relate to this whenever we just like push and try to make, we try and try. It's just like, you need to like take a step back and like, just let it be a little bit easy. Of course you have to work hard too, but like,
oh yeah,
chill a bit and then you'll get there.
But decision-making wise, I feel like sometimes we get so wrapped up in the anxieties of it that we don't let it be easy. I think that's the part that we're talking about, like, let it be easy. Not though we're like, obviously you have to get up and do the things you say that you're going to do or that you want to do, right? Or create the processes that will do that for you or the people that will do that for you, right? Plan it, have a strategy, but let it be easy in terms of, is this really what you want? Am I willing to put in this much time? And then reminding yourself like, oh, I'm like a whole other person on the other side of this every day, right? Like I have a family or I'm a whole other person that has other goals other than this. So how do I balance it, right? So
you get to choose what you prioritize.
Yeah. I'm super grateful that I get to do this. But I'm also like, I'm now booking all of my vacation time in January of each year. This is the second year in a row that's happened. So I'm like, this is happening.
I love that.
Written in stone.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. So this has been planned and booked for a while. So yeah, it's super great. Thank you so much for coming on. We're like already out of time.
I feel like we just like wound around the last hour.
I know. No,
we said what we said we were going to say.
Obviously. And
a lot of other stuff in there.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys want to keep up with all of Jill's postings, which I suggest you do, you can find her on Instagram at It's Jill Wise. You can find her at itsjillwise.com on her website. Check it out. She's got a lot of resources on there. She's got blogs. Really informative, guys. And you will see in the description as well some of her other links. And YouTube, if you like YouTube, she's on YouTube as well at It's Jill Wise. So thank you so much for coming on. Hope to have you in soon again. And thank you so much to the platform, UPRN, the United Public Radio Network, and UFOpreneur Radio Network. And thank you to all of you that are listening. Please like, follow, and share so that we can keep creating content for you. Thank you so much and have a great day, everyone.